back to the class, everyone. We just have some pretty hot news coming down the line that we are now going to need 3 fleets in Grand Arena on defense, which means we need a total of 6. Now, this is a little bit crazy because it doesn't really seem like we're ready for it, especially at least with how fleet is working now, where you have to have 7 full ships for each fleet commander. So today, I just want to talk about some initial thoughts, what I think is going to be good, what I think is going to be bad, what I think is going to be just kind of true for everyone. First off, let's not completely overreact. So this is my roster here that I'm showing, and fleet currently is one of the easiest things to be caught up on. So I think this is kind of a positive point. Like, we go to characters, I have a pretty end game roster for the most part, but it's really hard. It's really hard to get all the GLs. You can see here that I'm pretty clogged up on both Rey and Lord Vader, trying to get I'm going to get Lord Vader a month. I'll get Rey maybe 6 months, Star Killer maybe a few months. This stuff takes forever, but ships are a little bit easier, at least in my opinion, to kind of get caught up on. Like, Negotiator and Malevolence came very naturally. Executor is a pain in the butt. Executor's essentially the same requirements as GL, but there's only one of them, at least currently. So this, I don't think this is that big of a deal. I think this is actually really, really helpful for more of maybe the free play or the newer community, where, again, you don't have to have 6 GLs, but you can just kind of have Executor and to get 2 fleets, and you're going to already be at the top level. That being said, we have to be really, really careful with what we do with fleets on defense, because there aren't 7 or 8 viable fleets, because right now one of the main things is the meta is cleaning up Executor with 2 or 3 fleets. So we have the Executor fleet with all bounty hunters, the Malevolence fleet with all separatists, the Negotiator fleet with all GR, the Chimera with all Empire, Finalizer with all First Order, Rebels with all Rebels, and then Raddus with the Resistance. That's really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 fleets at most, and that's for a maxed account. And I know there are a lot of people in Kyber right now that don't have the account that we have. Like, we don't have a max account by any means, but there are a lot of people there that might even just have 6 capital ships unlocked. So really what I'm thinking for my strategy going forward is just going to be to stack the 3 strongest ones, which is kind of still up for debate right now. It might be Executor, Malevolence, and Negotiator. It might be Executor, Negotiator, maybe Chimera with the new Interceptor that's currently out there right now. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm thinking the way to go might just to be make ships a non-factor. It might just be put the 3 strongest ones on defense, because at that point, let's say everyone does this. Let's say this becomes the norm. We're gonna have to see what is gonna be the culture with fleet. If we just set these 3, and their opponent sets those 3, I don't think Chimera, Rebels, and Finalizer are gonna be able to consistently take these teams out. And then at most, you have a cleanup of Raddus. Because cleanups are pretty much going to be non-existent from this point, unless CG decides to give us more ships, which I know they will in time, but I care about next month. I care about what I'm going to have to do then. So this is a really big step. I don't know if we're entirely ready for it, but at the same time, we have to make a decision now. You guys can see my Raddus isn't fully ready, so I'm really leaning into the 3 on defense strategy, because if other than that, there's still a lot of RNG, unnecessary RNG in fleet, just because we don't really have fleet mods. And I'm not going to make this a video about fleet mods. I don't know if I want that. That sounds like an extra layer of complexity on the game that I think would possibly just kill it. But that being said, there's still a lot of RNG with mirror matches. Like Negotiator, they both go first at the same time. Executor, they go both for at the same time, assuming the same relic levels. So I just don't know. Tell me what your thoughts, or tell me what you guys' thoughts are. Tell me what you think we need, or what you're gonna do. One thing that one thing that is also a little alarming is right now the biggest rumor for the next fleet that we're gonna get is going to be the Ravager with all Sith fleet. The big problem with this is I don't even think this fixes the current problem we're talking about not having enough fleets, because if you look here, there's currently 5 Sith, which is really enough for a fleet nowadays. We kind of look at a full fleet as 7 characters or 7 ships, but it's really not. A full fleet is really 5. That's functional. Most fights end after, or really before the second reinforcement even comes out, let alone a third. But the issue here is 2 of these Sith ships are really, really pinnacle Empire ships. And they're, even with the new ship out there, there are not a lot of Empire ships. I mean, we have the capital ships, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So with how you're having to split this now, there really aren't enough ships between Empire and Sith to make 2 decent fleets. Basically, what I'm getting at here is even if we get the Ravager in the next month or so, it's not going to solve the problem, the fact that we just don't have enough right now. So I think it'll be okay. At the end of the day, your opponent is going to have to be in the exact same position you're in, so it really breaks even. It's not like your opponent has an extra fleet with 5 extra ships sitting out there. We're all kind of in the same boat. But yeah, tell me what your guys' thoughts are. I'm thinking heavy defense, and then just let ground decide it, because I don't know if I want to deal with this straight up. I don't think the current inventory of the game is really ready for it, but it is what it is. Tell me what your guys' thoughts are. Until the next time, stay awesome.